Hello YouTube, this is Interlocking Brick System 19 here, coming at you with another LEGO modification video. This time we are looking at, as you can probably guess by the Captain Phasma Trooper, the LEGO First Order Transporter. This is a set that came out to coincide with the release of The Force Awakens and featured quite extensively in parts of The Force Awakens. It was actually in several scenes at the beginning, as well as towards the middle with the Takodana battle, and has become quite an iconic ship. It's loosely based off of the boats that dropped troops off on D-Day in World War II, as this ship's role is actually to just drop as many troops as it possibly can. And as you can see, this is actually a modified version. This is my modified one. The original ship is probably about that much shorter and could only hold 6 troopers in it, in the main part, 1 in the turret and 1 in the piloting station. So I was not happy with that, so I decided therefore to extend it. And there's been quite a few that I can fit in there now. As you can see, there's a nice boarding ramp, which I largely kept the same. And then, as you can see up there, there are all the First Order troopers. So let's take off the roof, which still comes off the same as before. I actually did have to extend the roof slightly. Well, by the same amount. So as you can see, there's a few changes. I got rid of the flick fire missiles because I cannot stand those parts. I've just replaced them with flat tiles instead. I do not like the stud shooters, but I haven't come up with a design yet to improve this gun. But as soon as I do, I will let you know and I'll make a video on it. And as you can see, and if anyone follows me on Instagram will certainly know already, I can fit a lot more troopers than just 6 now. In fact, a lot more. We can fit 6 troopers in a line, making for a grand total of 12 altogether, as well as 1 in the dorsal turret. Sadly, I don't have enough First Order troopers, so that is currently empty, but does have a handy mechanism here that lowers and raises the seat, as you can see, and as well as the 12 troopers and the dorsal turret trooper, I also have included from the First Order TIE Fighter one of the TIE Fighter pilots, and he just stands on this little ledge here, and he's a rather well designed trooper, one of my favourite designs to come out of The Force Awakens. It just looks really sleek. And I really like this pipe piece that just comes off of his helmet. So we'll just slot him back in there. And the hatch closes like so. The engines have stayed the same, though I am planning on creating some plating that will just cover this gap up, because at the moment it looks quite plain and boring and a bit naked at the back. And on the underside, as we can see, I just used 1 long rod piece. Luckily I had one long enough to cover this entire area, and this actually came from the Duel on Mustafar set between Anakin and Obi-Wan from 2005, which does mean that I have 2. Now, I am hoping at some point to grab another one of these transports, potentially off of eBay. I know a lot of people sell just the set on its own for about £30, which I think is a pretty good deal. So at some point I might get another one of those and we'll have 2 and just expand the First Order army a little bit more and put Captain Phasma at the front like that, leading the way. So yeah, that is the inside modifications. On the outside there have been a lot of changes here on the side of the plating. Before, there was just this piece in the middle here, which was connected by on either side by this large piece and this large piece. So what I've done is I've added a 1x4 tile piece here, and 2 more of these ones here, just to extend it. Now my real issue was making something that looked good. I didn't want it to look ridiculous, I didn't want it to look too much, so I thought I'd keep it plain. I just keep this style going of the 4 studs followed by a big tile, and then we've got more tiles up here and just a little bit of grille feature, which I think looks really nice, and then obviously these tiled slopes at the bottom, and that looks the same on the other side of the ship as well. And one other feature I'm thinking of adding, and I've actually got the piece here to show you now, is one of these rounded pieces, and just to put it on there. Now I want to get your guys' opinions on this, because I think that looks okay, but I'm worried it looks too much like a button, but it does hide the piece that is hidden under there. Now I don't think on the other side, no, on the other side there isn't a rounded piece, so just be on this side, but let me know in the comments what you think, and depending on what you guys vote, I will follow what you say. So this is the majority of my first order army at the moment. I do have a couple of other figures. I have a lot of these guys as well. They form up a big part of my army because I've got quite a few battle packs. As well as those guys, I also have a Kylo Ren minifigure, which I'm just getting out now. And this is the Kylo Ren from the Battle on Takodana set. And as well as this guy, I have the First Order General. He was a Polybag exclusive, and I was quite lucky. I actually thought I'd missed out on buying him or getting him, because for some reason these promotions don't seem to be advertised or happen as often in the UK as they seem to do in the US. So I was lucky enough to find a big stack of them in Toys R Us for £5 each. So I just bought myself the one, because I thought £5 is quite a lot to spend on just a minifigure. So I just got myself the one. And the last figure I have, and you're going to hear some Lego shuffling for a second because I've got to find him, is this officer guy here, who came with the First Order TIE Fighter. I do have the TIE Fighter, but and the second pilot that came with it, but at the moment they are both, well, the TIE Fighter pilot is somewhere in my collection, and the TIE Fighter itself has been disassembled to make some space for some Rogue One sets, and therefore is currently not being built. I do have one other First Order minifigure, but that is not with me at the moment, and that is the another polybag. It's the Heavy Trooper polybag set. That's actually at my university residence. It's in Darth Vader's TIE Advance. There's a bit of a weird combination there, but it works. So yeah, I do have that one as well. That actually came with the U-Wing when I bought the U-Wing on Force Friday in September, and that was actually a little bit of a disappointing experience actually, because the reason I ordered it online and waited a week for shipping was because I thought I was going to get Darth Revan as a polybag, and it turned out that was a promotion only in the US. So what LEGO did for the UK is they gave us the First Order Heavy Stormtrooper, and they also gave us a Spider-Man polybag it was more of a set than a polybag, which was pretty cool, as well as a thank you for shopping with LEGO kind of postcard. So yeah, I tweeted them out and said that was a very guilt-trippy thing that they'd done. They'd obviously felt quite guilty about not giving the rest of the world Darth Revan, as they should be. He's £30 to buy new. It's ridiculous, but hopefully one day they release him in the UK again. I think that is it for the First Order. I do have a few more of these guys floating around somewhere. I think maybe one or two, and another TIE Fighter pilot and the Heavy Trooper, and that's it. I'm hoping over the next year to get a few more first order people, because at the moment it's not big enough to create an army video, but hopefully with the release of the new battle packs in June or May, depending on when they're coming out, and The Last Jedi, we'll get a few more sets, maybe a rumoured Kylo Ren fighter that we've heard about, and maybe a couple more ships, but who knows, they seem to be sticking with the TIE fighters. But we might get a Star Destroyer. It just depends what LEGO's coming out with. Anyway, I'm going to close off the kind of the review here. Thanks for watching again, and may the Force be with you guys. Have a great and wonderful day.